enjoying summer, and someone called me and he say, hello Vodafone. Yeah, I'm not interested. Sorry. And then no, we want to hire. One of the main things I took from the culture is the spirit of sacrifice, like very strong mental toughness.
And do you think it's for everyone?
No, until the last minute, we had to keep going. Let's make it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk to the Top, where we focus on people looking for change and personal growth. And today we have as a guest Federico Lonza. He is not afraid of change direction. He chooses change over comfort, and he leads investment company, and he's focused not only profit but impact. Hello, Federico.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited, and I have to make a confession to you. This is my very first podcast, so I'm very excited to have a conversation with you. And congratulations for your podcast. It's very nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Federico. We are very happy to have you here today. Our first question about your experience. We know that you studied abroad, you were living abroad in different countries like China, Belgium, and also you worked for a corporate company. Vodafone is a global telecom company, and you switched to entrepreneurship. What was your motivation? Why you decided to do such changes in your life?
I think because I'm very curious, I like change. Change in some way excites me. The unknown also in some way excites me. So it was not always like this all the time, but I think I developed this thing in the years and through going through like out of my comfort zone. But basically, I'm very curious and like to try new things. So that is for sure. And in the process, I learned to deal with the uncomfortable situations, new situation that most of the times can be uncomfortable, like moving to China or things like this. And so this like having the willing to learn new things, to meet new people, to be in new environments, to know new things, and to grow for sure is the most powerful thing that made me do this path. I think that's mainly it.
Thanks, Fede, for joining us. It's great to have you here. Just to touch on the curious mindset that you mentioned. So, just for our viewers, what sparked this curious mindset? Was it something that stemmed down from your parents or within the family, or was it always a creative, intellectual curiosity that you always had at the back of your mind? Can you tell us more about that and the support that you had from your family, if any?
Okay. Uh, from what my parents say, I've been always very curious. I will always ask why of things, and they even get I too much why from me. And I for sure they basically always replied, but it
Yeah.
was sometimes a bit overwhelming when I was a kid. I mean, normally kids always ask why in some period of their childhood, but from what they say, me a lot more. So I don't know if I'm born this way or what, but this was since the beginning. And uh, about the family support, they always supporting me in everything. And but on the other side, about the like moving in different countries and the adventures and so on, they're not so used to it. So I mean, they at the end they accepted it, but
Yeah.
it was not easy for them. Let's say.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Fede, for that. Speaking about traveling abroad, you mentioned you were in China, and I would like to ask how it was shaped you. What is your thinking now after having such experience?
It's interesting question. I think I mean it's difficult in this moment to isolate just the fact of me living in China, but basically a big part of what I am now is was shaped by that. I think one component is for sure the fact that I went out of my comfort zone. I experienced new things. I mean, there I went there 10 years ago, which was even more closed in some way than now, and less international. And I lived in Beijing, and I'm very happy that I lived in Beijing, because it was a city, not an international city in China. Few foreigners living there, and very authentic on the other way. While Shanghai was already more international, and so basically everything was different. Nobody was speaking in English. For sure, I had some of my connection, other international people, but also I went very deep into the culture, and that one like completely opened my mind also to accept things that otherwise I wouldn't accept. That to think that things are normal, even if for me, from where I come from, they're not normal, but they're normal for other people in other cultures.
Do you remember some examples how you struggled with some situations, unknown and unexpected situations in a totally different culture?
That's an interesting question. What comes to my mind now is at the beginning of when I just moved to China. So I took like very long. I went completely alone. I took a very long flight, and then I arrived in Beijing. It was like beginning of September. It was very hot, but on the other side rainy, no sun. And I was coming, I mean, from Italy, from Trieste, which is, it was for sure sunny, warm, and everything. So it was very hot, but not sunny and rainy. And I didn't have anything like, I didn't have a place to live. I just had a hotel without window, which here, I mean, there is very normal. Here, we're not used to it. So I felt, wow, where did I end up? And I had to stay here for at least 1 year. And I didn't have any connection. I didn't know how the real estate market works to find rent and all these things. And all the people I started to interact to were just speaking in Chinese. So I had to find my way, deal with it. So for sure that was a very difficult moment. But then I had to say like, okay, keep going, keep looking, do action, do things, and then I will solve it. I will find a way. Worst case, I mean, I will keep staying in this shitty hotel for some time, even if I might run out of money. But yeah, at the end, I mean, keep putting the action into it, and then the day after, I mean, is another moment to restart and to keep going toward what your goal is in that moment. Was just to find a place to sleep.
Mamma mia, it sounds a little bit terrible for me. Did you learn some Chinese words during this experience to survive? If they spoke only Chinese, how you could communicate with people?
Uh, yes, I mean, at the beginning, no. The first 6 months, I didn't focus much on that because I mean, I adapted a bit. I adapted in the culture, and I focused on other things, on working, on studying, on traveling as well. But then I realized, I mean, if I don't speak Chinese, I cannot really communicate and understand well the culture. So then I did a full time degree of Chinese as well. So at the end, I was able to talk a bit in Chinese, like to have a basic conversation. Now, for sure, 10 years passed, so I lost it a bit. But I think if I go back, I can get it back a bit. But yeah, it was a very interesting experience because you really see that the people really open up more when you speak their language and you access
Mhm.
better their culture. It's very interesting.
And to conclude this chapter about China, I'm very curious about what or if did you take from Chinese culture um, to your culture, to your life, because we know that Chinese culture is very old, older than others, and they have really deep. A lot of nuances in that culture. Sometimes we can't understand why they do some things. Did you take something interesting? Did you implement something from their culture to yours?
Yeah. Yeah, I think first thing is not like it's so many similarities between Italian and Chinese culture in their own differences. So maybe it's not so different as we think. For example, the first similarity I saw is importance of the family. Like is very important in China, but it is also in Italy. About your question. I think the main thing, like one of the main things I took from the culture, is the spirit of sacrifice. Like they are willing to give up maybe 10 years of their life to then improve and have a better life. It means it's a very deep spirit of sacrifice. For example, I met one engineer once. In He worked in Xiaomi. Is At that time it was like still not so big company. Now it's growing, but he was earning good money. And I mean, at that time already engineers in China were earning good money, but he was living in the basement in a room with nine other people, and so having like very low, very cheap life, and sacrificing, because for sure living in the basement is not so nice. Uh, to In order to buy a house in the future where when he's going to get married, and so on. So he was like able to give up the first 10 years and sacrifice a lot in order then to have better life in future. I think that is very very important when you start your career or your business life, let's say.
Just to touch on your career after university. So I know you had an offer from Vodafone, and you also had the opportunity to develop your app, Eat and Meet, which I'll get to in a bit. So I just want to find out what prompted you to choose your career at Vodafone over like developing this app, and can you tell us more about the Eat and Meet app? How you developed it, what prompted what sparked the interest for you, um, and also if your experience in China had any impact on this app and your passion for it, just in terms of how you immersed yourself in that culture and whether it contributed to developing this specific app.
Yeah, it's very wide question.
Yeah.
I will
I
try to
can
keep it
step by
short.
step.
Yeah, so basically the Vodafone job was my dream job. I saw it before to go to China and to go abroad, basically. And at that time I said, wow, this is the job I want to do. I met one person who was doing that job, and but then I didn't have the credentials. I didn't have the international experience. I didn't have a high level degree and so on. And then in some way I ended up to develop this experience a bit. Maybe that job staying in the back of my mind. Um, and so at the end, when I was going back to China, before to go back to, sorry, from China go back to Italy, I applied, and then I almost forgot about that. And then one day it was summer here in Trieste. I was enjoying summer, and someone called me and he say, "Hello, Vodafone. Yeah, I'm not interested. Sorry." And then no, we want to hire. and so and so basically, I mean, long story short, then I got the job, and I still had to finish my double degree, and so go back to Brussels for 6 months. Um, and then in the meanwhile, I had this idea about Itamita, and yeah, you're right. I got it when I was living in China. I traveled around China, and I went to very unknown places for tourists. Basically, in some places, no Chinese people there, never saw one foreign person.
Yeah.
And so I went really deep into their culture in these months of traveling, and it was very interesting. And what I was seeing, I was like, I quite extroverted, especially when I'm traveling, and I was seeing like people are really happy to help me, to host me, sometimes even for sleeping, sometimes just for eating. But that experience was very very deep and very interesting for me, for sure, that I was traveling and discovering new cultures and stuff, but also for the local people. They were so happy to host me, you know. For example, one time I've been with four generation of Chinese in the
Yeah.
same house, just eating in the floor some herbs and rice. But it was so deep, so interesting experience. And so from that, I mean, I didn't had the idea in that moment, but then when I went back to Brussels, I had this probably in the back of my mind. It came up. It basically, I wanted to allow people who are not maybe so extroverted, they don't travel and meet so many people to access that experience that I had many times. So that's how it born. And back to the other part of the question. So in that moment, I had to decide because I developed already the business plan and all the way how to develop this app. And on the other side, already had the job offer from my dream job, so I had to make a decision. And so I went to talk with one of my mentors and wise person, and he told me one thing. Okay, if you go for entrepreneurship, you will never be a manager. You will never do the. I mean, in the sense, I will never do the manager experience in one company because probably when you try entrepreneurship, you just stay into the entrepreneurship. But if you become a manager, be a good manager, then you can be a good entrepreneur. The other way around is more difficult. So I followed that suggestion, that tip, and I think it was very good. And it is very true, anyways, because if you start your career in entrepreneurship, you can be maybe probably a good entrepreneur, but it's difficult to become a good manager because you don't have reference from other people. If you go in a big company, and I mean Vodafone, I don't know now, but at the time was one of the best in Italy for how they like tech company. Let's say it was not really a tech company, but it was one of the most technological and had very high level managers. So I learned a lot from that. So at the end, it was the good choice. I don't know how it would have been the other way around,
Yeah.
but then I didn't want to give up about the idea about developing it. So I worked for some years very hard to do both, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. And what skills did you learn in the corporate world, like from Vodafone, for example? And how did you apply those skills in your business now, which we'll speak to a bit later? Because I know you said obviously to go that path where you develop yourself as a manager or learning from managers, it's easier to go that route and take those skills and apply it in
Yeah.
the entrepreneurial field. So can you just touch on a few skills that you've learned through that journey and
Yeah.
through that path?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Um, Basically, one thing that I learned that is very important is communication. Like maybe when I started my career, I was thinking a bit, yeah, it doesn't matter. The important, yeah, is you say the thing very direct. But the truth is, you have to communicate in a certain way. You have to understand the person you're talking to, and you have to have the right communication on that. So maybe spend a few more minutes to write an email, or before to make a call, think about what you want to say, what is the goal of that communication. And this connect a bit also to the political side of working in a corporate, which I don't like, and I went against it quite a lot at the beginning of my career. But then I realized it's a skill and it's important. I still don't like it much, but in parts, I think is very useful, even in entrepreneurship, because even that you have to deal with people and you have to understand how to move with them, what is the leverage to make them do some things. So is it's a very important skill. So I think I would say these two skills are the one, let's say, that I discovered most and that changed me. That I was thinking in a certain way before, and after the experience, I changed. Then for sure, after that, a lot other things like managing people and leadership, and I, because I saw, I mean, the nice thing also, I said there were very good managers. There were also bad managers and bad leaders. So I had both the examples
Exactly. Yeah.
to not follow and to follow.
Yeah. What to do? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What to do and
yeah,
not to do.
exactly.
Okay.
We know that being um, specialist in Vodafone and working on that app, you participated with your application in Las Vegas at an international exhibition. So you achieved a good level of developing your personal project. How was it? And I know that it wasn't so easy. It was also challenging because it was some issues with some money to participate. I know that you were supported by Italian government for startups. Correct me if I say something wrong. And you had some issues just to go to USA. It's far. It's you have the team. You need tickets and so on. So uh, looks like you had a good opportunity, but the small thing like tickets to reach the place was like an obstacle. How did you manage that? Um, and it was an example as being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So in developing Itamit, we had many setbacks, many issues, many moments where you think, okay, am I doing the right thing, or
Yeah.
am I? Is it like my effort worth it, and so on and so forward. Um, but the hunger to make it succeed, and also I think a very important thing was, and in general it is uh, to when you have a big mission that is a lot more helpful and give you so much more energy to keep going and to push the project forward. And in this case it was like we at the more ground level, we wanted and we delivered the best experience of the trip, because we talked with many of our hosts and many friends and people that travels, and the like the Tour Eiffel, the Colosseum. You remember, you like them, you take the picture, and maybe you share on the social. But the people you meet, especially from different countries, and the exchange you have with them will stay for you with you forever. So that was our goal, and then what we delivered. But on a higher level, what I learned also in my traveling is the wars, the differences, and the fight between cultures happen because you don't know much about the other culture, you don't understand the other culture, and you don't know you don't know and you don't understand. So when you don't understand, you go against it. It was also the thing I said before about China. And so our mission was basically through the experiences. So when you travel, you meet the local person, you go to eat with them, you sit at the same table, and then in that moment is probably eating together is probably the most social activity you can ever do, and is a moment where you're relaxed, and with the food, through the food also you exchange culture. And so after that experience is both people, the host and the guest, we have a more deep understanding about the culture of the other. That can be the culture of completely the country around the world, on the other side of the world, but even the culture between north and central, or north and south Italy, can be different, and can be understood better. So our mission was really to lower the cultural barriers between people. And so that mission for sure kept us going a lot more than maybe making money or making a startup successful. So yeah, that's I think that's one thing. And about the CS in Vegas, yeah, it was not easy because we were invited, so we have by the Italian government, we had all the funding from them, but then we still had to pay all the flights and the accommodation there. And so we looked very long for a partner, a sponsor. um, and it was quite difficult because the time frame was very short, so we contacted basically almost all the company, because we wanted to do something through food, because we didn't have hardware. CS is a lot about hardware, and we wanted something to attract the people, so to put some food there, some Italian food for sure would attract people. And then basically with Arcangelo, we almost wanted to give up. He said, "Okay, we try every way." The last day, and we had like we don't go, we because if we didn't get the sponsor, we couldn't go. And I said no until the last minute. We had to
Yeah.
keep going, and then we finally found one sponsor, which was very very good, because it was Domori, that have origin even in Trieste, and. And that one allowed to us to go to the CS. So I mean, this is just an example, but there are so many others in my entrepreneurial and business path to that demonstrate that basically the result. You get the result just when you almost gave up. If you don't give up in that moment, probably just short after you get to the goal. So that, yeah, that was an interesting experience. And then, I mean, the CS was amazing.
Thank you, Federico. It's an amazing example how to keep going until the end. And I understand from your words, if I was almost give up, it means that tomorrow I will have success, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not tomorrow, but yes, you should keep going. I mean, eventually you will have success. On the other side, I think you should not be stupid
Yeah,
in
of
sense.
course.
I mean, if you want to sell ice in Iceland in winter, maybe you can try harder, but maybe
Yeah,
you don't succeed. So it's very, you had to be smart to know when to give up, but it's not give up because you didn't try hard enough, but is you give up because you, not because you're tired or you don't have energy anymore, but
yeah,
because you made a smart decision to give up.
yeah, of course. I mean that even if we feel that we can't do anything anymore, we need to continue
Yeah.
and keep going. Um, it's about resilience, and you went to entrepreneurship following your big idea inside you to connect people, connect different cultures. And at the end, you have chosen the entrepreneurship way other than corporate world, even if this career was successful for you, right?
Yeah.
So why you decided? Okay, I understand why, because you had such what to say you. Uh, it was inside you what motivated and inspired you to go, because many people you felt responsibility for many people who trusted your application, but also why you choose to leave the corporate world, and what was the moment, this exact moment to decide? What did you feel?
That's an interesting, that's an interesting question. Um, so I think I can say many things,
Yeah.
but I think if I had to be like truly uh, to say truly what was the reason was, I wanted to do things my own way,
Mhm.
and in the corporate world, you can take some ideas, you can even like make it happen, and I did it, but you cannot really do things your way.
Mhm.
So that was for sure the main propellant. And then I wanted more freedom, like to. I had quite a lot of freedom as a manager in Vodafone, but I wanted even more. Not in the sense that if I want to sleep over, I sleep over,
Yeah.
or things like this, but in the sense more freedom to develop my own ideas and the way I think it should be and should go. Also about the culture and also about the type of business and so on. Um, that is that was not easy, an easy decision, because I mean, from for the society, for my family, for everyone, basically it was like very stupid thing to do in that
Yeah.
moment, because I mean, I had my dream job, and it was also like well paid, a lot of benefits and stuff,
Yeah.
so it was difficult. But if I looking backward to
Mhm.
that decision, uh, at the end, probably it was more risky for me, at least, to stay in that position than to go into entrepreneurship, because I mean, if I would have stayed there, there is a big chance that I regretted that decision to stay there, and I would probably always think like, why I didn't at least try, and
Yeah.
then when you go there, like you start growing, you start having more responsibilities, you take some merits, you have more, you earn more money, and it's very very comfortable. It's like kind of a gold cage, and so the more you go forward, the more it's difficult to quit.
Mhm.
um, and then it's not necessarily even so safe, because then I mean, even big companies, if you look at the biggest index in the stock exchange, the biggest like didn't exist 20 years ago, and the one that were in the
Mhm.
index 20 years ago, they're not anymore. So And so yeah, that was the experience about quitting the corporate job and going to entrepreneurship.
Okay, and did you have any doubts when you started your entrepreneurship way as a free person? Did you have any doubts or fears or challenges? How it was in the beginning?
I would say doubts.
Because sorry, because the most difficult part is to start
Yeah.
in any activity we know. And how it was for you? What did you feel?
I think fears, no, and doubts,
No.
no. I was very convinced about that path,
Mm-hmm.
and the more I went into it, the more I enjoyed it. I was happy I chose that path.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges a lot, and yeah, I agree with you. Probably the beginning, like to do the step, is quite difficult, but it's also difficult all the way. Like when
Mm-hmm.
you're growing, where you started is very difficult, but also where you're growing, because maybe you like in each moment you have to do something that you don't have the skills yet, you have still to be developed and you never did before. That is always difficult, and then the more you grow, the more responsibility you have, the biggest the problem. For sure you have more experience to go toward that, so I think the entrepreneurship path is always difficult, and the best way to enjoy the process also is to understand it and accept it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thanks, Fede. Just to touch on, well, just before we go on to the next question, yeah, your drive and ambition is very impressive from what we've been listening so far. So you've had quite a journey. I just want to talk about I know you mentioned Iceland before. You touched on Iceland just briefly. So I know you had a few biking activities across Iceland. You actually um, like did a biking
Yeah,
activity
yeah,
across the
biking
whole of
trip. Yeah.
Iceland. And also, like you mentioned, you've had a lot of solo journeys. You've traveled alone, etc. Do you think these type of activities are important when it comes to developing entrepreneurial grit? And do you think it's for everyone, or would it just depend on type of person that is, hoping to get into the entrepreneurial space? Because obviously, as you mentioned, like when you had to leave Vodafone and start your own business, etc. There were a lot of fears. It's obviously a risky decision. You have to make sure, am I doing the right thing, etc. So, starting your own business and leaving a permanent job is not for the faint-hearted, but you took that step to do it. So, do you think that these type of activities have they built you into the person that you are today? Or were these just and how did they help you break barriers and move forward and maneuver through these challenges? Were they helpful, and did you choose these activities specifically for your entrepreneurial journey?
Um, yeah, that's again a big question. I will answer separately to the about the adventures and about if is for everyone. Um, so about the first part, I chose it just because I like it, not for entrepreneurship scope or business. I just like adventure. I like to, as I mentioned, to try new things, but I like nature as well a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be active, to do sports, and I like to meet new people. And I mean, I did different trips and adventures, and in all of them there is something of that, so, and on one side, I think some of the experiences and the adventures I had were even more risky than to quit the corporate job
Mm-hmm.
and go for entrepreneurship. And these experiences I don't suggest to everyone to do, because for sure you had to be prepared. You could die. In some, like I traveled around Iceland, and in some
Mm-hmm.
parts it was like I was just alone in nature. And
Yeah.
if you are in some way prepared mentally and physically, uh, it's it's not a problem. But if you're not, it can be a
Yeah.
very big problem. Um, and but yes, they were like they help to develop me. Like after you finish a trip like that one with so many obstacles, so many that are very physical obstacle. If you have to cross freezing river with all the bicycle, if you had to sleep in the very cold weather but you don't have the proper equipment and things like this, if the bike breaks and there is nothing, no one there to help you,
Mhm.
nothing to help you repair it, and you had to go forward, that is very physical thing, that you
Correct.
have to go through and go over in some way, mentally and physically, as I said before. So for sure that developed like very strong mental toughness, and that helped for sure a lot in the entrepreneurship in some way. For sure, I wouldn't say all the obstacles, all the problems I have in my entrepreneurial journey are smaller than that one, but that helped me a lot to
Mhm.
develop this mindset to just deal with the problem and go over it. And at the end, if you keep going in life, in business, and in the adventure, what I think is you will find a solution. You will go over it. Just
Mhm.
keep going. If you stop, then that is a problem.
Correct.
um, about the other question, if everyone should go into entrepreneurship, I think no. I think it's not for everyone, um, because it's very tough, and you need certain, I wouldn't say skills, because the skills you can learn, but certain attitude toward life.
Mhm.
You have to be for sure curious. You have to keep going in the moments where
Mhm.
it's difficult, and in some way you had to be able to go out of the comfort zone, because in any moment there are some things you had to learn, you had to develop, that for sure I'm talking about if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, let's say.
Mhm.
So I think it's not for everyone, but I think it can be for many people who think it's not for them. That can be for them. And
Mhm.
anyways, I wouldn't say everyone should try entrepreneurship, but I think the barrier to try it nowadays is very low. So I
Thank
think
you.
many people can try.
Mhm.
Just not try. I don't like the word try. Just to, okay, let's try if it works.
Mhm.
No, go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe for a short time. Maybe let's dedicate 6 months. Even if you work in a corporate career or another job,
Mhm.
do it for 6 months. In someone you really believe in, and then see how it's going. If you realize it's not for you, you prefer to follow a path, to follow
Mhm.
some direction, to follow a culture that's already built, then stay in your job. But at least you will know that is your path, and that is the thing you like the most.
Correct. And at least you have that stability of your job as opposed to just
Yeah,
leaving it all together and diving head straight
yeah,
into opening up a
yeah.
business. Just on the entrepreneurial aspect, so you have your business, Impact Investments. I just want to find out, can you just touch a little bit on, exactly what you do and what does impact mean for you? So I know, is it something that resonated with you when you chose the name? And can you just tell us a bit more about that? Like what prompted you to choose the name and um, what impact has it had on you and the environment and your business career as well?
Okay. Basically, yes, impact. I mean, the word impact meant a lot in the name, because, and I chose it at the beginning to give us a very clear direction on what
Mhm.
we do. We do investments that have a positive impact, so no negative, no natural impact, but positive. And because I think that is the main thing, the main thing a business should focus about. For sure, the number one priority is to make money for a business, because if a business don't make money, cannot give money to the employees, cannot grow, cannot
Mhm.
develop even a country or a sector, and so on. So cannot make a positive impact, but should make money doing a positive impact. That's what I think, and that's what I want my legacy to be in the world. Because if I had to, let's say I'm 80, I look back what I did, and I became billionaire or whatever, but
Mhm.
by making a negative impact, I would not feel good with myself, and I think it would be worthless at the end.
Mhm.
So that's to remember me and the team, and to attract also people that believe in this one. And about what we do, it's quite simple. We do investments, as said in name, mainly in real estate. So we buy properties who are undervalued. We make them look look and be very good homes for people.
Okay.
And then some the strategic asset we keep it, and the other one we sell, but we do it in a startup way.
Okay.
And then we do also investments in startups because we did meet like the startup words really resonate with me. It's very interesting. The people who are around the startup world are very. I mean, I think the startuppers are the real makers, the real
Mm-hmm.
people who make things happen and make the world change by general entrepreneurship. And so I want to keep growing the startups and to start maybe new startups
Mm-hmm.
also, and to support some very nice projects.
Okay. And I know you have a lot of exciting potential projects coming up or some in the pipeline. Can you just touch a bit on how AI and technology are shaping your future plans when it comes to these projects? So I know some of them are out of the real estate sector. How do you see AI and technology shaping the future plans? And how do you feel like your skills can contribute to that field? Because I know you said you are quite passionate about the startups, which are, the innovation of the world. So can you just touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, basically the AI will do everything
Yeah.
in the near future. So we are implementing a lot of that into the real estate investment for sure. Not yet robots to make the renovation and stuff, because we are not yet there with the technology,
Hmm.
but we are using it and we are implementing it um, basically as a continuous way, because you cannot develop implement today, because in 1 month the technology will be a lot more advanced. So you have to keep
Hmm.
implementing it, and we are doing it in impact investment because, as I said before, we operate as a startup, so in an innovative way with technology. Not only technology, we move faster, we are creative, we really make things happen, and this really differentiates us. And the more we implement AI and machine learning as well, and automations, the more we can keep growing and keep our differentiating factor. And I think, as I said before, the AI and will shape the future, and the AI will be the future in some way, you know. And it's a revolution we maybe not yet understand how huge will be, but will be very big. Will change. I think we changed very deeply how we live our lives.
Hmm.
So if someone wants to go into entrepreneurship today, for sure, uh, not I don't suggest to everyone to go into the AI and technology sector, but for sure that will be very interesting if it interests you, and if you have
Yeah.
some skills and some understanding of that. At
Okay.
least many things you can learn, but
Yeah.
at least one a basic understanding you need to have at the beginning.
And just to round up the entrepreneurial aspect, Fede, for someone who's, for example, just say is in the corporate world, or looking to start their own business, as you have taken that bold step, what advice would you give them? Just in terms of stepping out of their comfort zone, what do they need to know? Um, what fears do they need to overcome? Would you recommend any, um, you know, just any advice or guidance to them, and motivation, if that, if they're wanting to take that step into this entrepreneurial aspect?
I think for sure it's easier for me to say now, but I don't think it's so risky to do
Mm-hmm.
to do it, because most of the people who have a good job now have a skill, developed a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe few of them they were very lucky to get a job they're not skilled for or something like this, but most of them develop a skill. So if you quit your job today, probably you are able to get it back, or the exact same job, or at a competitor,
Mm-hmm.
if you develop a real skill or you have experience. Um, on the other side, I wouldn't suggest to just quit the job, because also have some emotional effect. So I would suggest just really be active and just do it. Just head down, do it. Maybe work many hours, 12, 14, take a sleep because you need to recover your energies, but
Mm-hmm.
work as much as you can for few months or something like this, as I mentioned before, and just make something happen. Just get some clients, cut everything everything is not useful for your project, just cut it.
Mhm.
Just see if your idea can work, and you can get some clients. Don't give your product, your service for free, because otherwise you're not testing the market.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
just giving for free something. If you give free objects, most of the people will take it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean you have a business, so you validate your business. So, and today, to just try to do to sell. So
Mhm.
basically, what I would say, if I had to cut it really to the smaller action, just work very hard to sell your product or service, even if you don't have it, even if it's not completely ready yet.
Yeah.
But just get the customers and see if they're paying.
Yeah.
If they're paying, then you can start to build business,
Mhm.
the product and service, and then from there you go, and you will feel when the moment where it's time to quit your job, and to
Correct.
go
Yeah.
full time on that. But uh, you have, I mean, when you begin, you had to keep in mind, um, you had to put a lot of energy and effort into that. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen most probably if you work 1 hour per day more.
Mhm.
You have really to put into the effort, and this is also a way to test if you are
Yeah.
willing to be an entrepreneur and to run a successful business or not.
Correct. And it's all about taking action now as opposed to waiting for perfection,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
exactly,
Yeah.
absolutely. That is
Yeah.
very true. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, just on that topic, great advice. Are there any mentors or books that motivated you to become the person that you are today in terms of your mindset, your creativity, stepping out of your comfort zone? Is there anything that you could recommend in terms of books, podcasts, motivational speakers, entrepreneurs as well?
Yeah. Yes, I think in today's world is very easy and accessible to have some
Mm-hmm.
mentors. I mean, I had some mentors which I know personally, and I also have many other mentors who I knew through the socials, through the books. I mean, social media, YouTube, mainly, and the internet, and I think is very good to use these tools to have the knowledge and to pick the mind of the people.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end, you have to do it your way. I think you, because otherwise you cannot like read Elon Musk book and then do what he's
Yeah.
doing, because you will not be happy. He's doing that way because it's his way and it's the best way for him. But it's most probably not 100% not for you. Maybe it's a bit
Correct. Yeah.
different. Maybe it's completely different. But yes, there are three books I would recommend. The first one is The Element by Ken Robinson. Basically, it describe how is what is that state when you're really working on what you're meant to be working, and you are in your element. Basically, the time and everything around just disappear in some way. And I think that is a
Mm-hmm.
very interesting concept, and is almost like it almost, I mean, for what I felt reading it, and I read it a couple of times, almost goes into like philosophy and meaning of life. Like it means in that moment you're really doing what you're meant to be doing in the world. So it's very interesting. The other one is the happiness equation by Neil Parisha, and also it's very interesting because at the end, I think what we really want is to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very important as well. And then the last one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because is like, I think it's really a timeless book, and it really explain the main important things to do when you want to build a business and to grow rich, in a sense, not material rich or money rich only, but rich as a person, to grow, so to have I think one of the main principle, the most important that for me is to have a group of people who wants to make that thing happen as you want, and to work with them and to listen to them. No matter, like, there is no hierarchy. Just listen to them and understand if their advice, what they think is good, and build and grow together.
Okay, those are great recommendations. Thanks. And I guess the second book that you mentioned is quite important or critical because I guess you always have to be happy when you, in terms of whether it's having a corporate career or doing a business, because happiness equals personal growth as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I completely agree. And I think overall, like, it's very important to listen to yourself and
Yeah.
really understand what makes you happy, because otherwise you're chasing like what you think makes the other people happy,
Correct. Yeah.
but maybe that's not what really makes you happy. So sometimes if we stop a moment, uh, or if we stop in general for what we're doing, we think we are losing time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use that time in a nice way to reflect on our life and where we're going, and
Yeah.
what we really want deep inside, is very very useful. Like, it's the most useful
Correct.
thing you can do. Like,
Yeah.
even if you stay, even if you had to dedicate 1 week to that, and you
Yeah.
had to stop all the other things, which is very important, are very important, you had to keep going. But if you understand the direction where your soul had to go, then
Mm-hmm.
is worth a lot more.
Correct, correct, exactly. And I like the thing you said about the hierarchies. I guess when it comes to starting a business, um, even though you, the CEO or whatever of a company, I guess it's always nice to have no hierarchies
Yeah,
within a company because it gives your employees or your colleagues more freedom and motivation to express their ideas freely where there's no hierarchy in terms
yeah,
of formal hierarchies, should
yeah,
I say? Yep.
yeah, exactly. And at the end, as is mentioned in the book, um, everyone have his own skills, and in my team as well. And so everyone can get a very good idea. Even,
Mm-hmm.
for example, one thing I do with the new people who join the team is in the first weeks they tell me some ideas how to improve the business.
Okay.
So some we already tried, some they don't make sense, because for sure they
Mm-hmm.
say because they don't know the business.
Yeah.
But then every time there is some very interesting idea they take, because they're not into the business yet, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Correct. Yeah.
um, they know well. But in general, I think that is just very rich to have ideas for all the team,
Mm-hmm.
and really help you to make the right decisions after you listen to all the team. Because I mean, if you have the right team, they will always. But even the person who is always against is very
Mm-hmm.
good in a team, because
Yeah. Yeah.
makes you see where is the risk, what can be the bad thing about that decision, or that path. So yeah,
Correct.
that is
Yeah.
very very useful thing.
Okay. And Philly, just to round up, just in terms of taking bold decisions. So I know you've taken a lot, obviously, in your corporate professional career within the business, but also within your personal life as well, I'm sure. Um, are there any, what 3 words could you give our audience, just in terms of what does taking bold decisions, what does that mean for you?
One word is for sure impact.
Mm-hmm.
The other word is possible, uh, because I think if you really um, do the thing, you can make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Then, in some way, is you had to think if you need the resources, you lack something. But if you have a certain idea, for sure you can make it happen. You have to think what you're missing. You're missing knowledge. You're missing type of people. You're missing money, whatever. But if you really believe, you can make it happen. Um, and yeah, those are the first two. And the other one, I think, just go for it. So make it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think. Don't wait. Don't learn too much. Learning is
Yeah.
very good, but don't learn too much. So the last word, and I think at the end, the most important, action.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Yeah. Great. And I see your shirt as well. I mean, that's your logo, right? Possible.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Exactly.
Thanks, Rene.
Thank you, Federico, for these 3 words which describe in your way, your mindset in doing such bold decisions. It's very important. And I know also, as you mentioned about your team, how, your approach to work with different people, listen to their ideas, and what is important for you in people doing startups. I know that your company is growing, and of course, you have future plans. You want to develop that company, and also you are looking for a general manager who will be responsible for operations here in Trieste for your company. It's like a manager who you mentioned before, who knows how it's going, a, with a probably the mindset as a manager, not only with mindset as entrepreneur as you have. So, and my question is, what is important for general manager for your company? Why I'm asking? Because if you're looking for such person, probably someone from our audience can recognize themselves, and they can offer themselves for that position. Could be interesting for them, and for you it could be an opportunity. What you are expecting for from that person?
Yes. So basically, we have quite interesting plan of development for impact in the next years. So basically, now we're working within the region Friuli and Giulia and in different cities, and we developed some the way to do it, the processes, and all the operating system of the company in some way. Uh, by at the same time keeping the startup feeling, startup mood, the startup creativity. So
Mhm.
we have some processes, but they're not so like so deep and so well defined, and they're always evolving. So in the next years, we will go to work in different cities. We will build micro teams in different cities to do investments there. I mean, for the real estate side, and that is very exciting because we learned a lot in the last years, and we make so many errors, and
Mhm.
by learning from that, we implement it in what is our way to do it, and we want to export to take this one in other cities with small teams that act like a startup,
Mhm.
and develop the real estate investments there. And we will use a lot of technology, a lot of data to choose where to go, and to kick off the new cities. And as of this plan, yeah, we're looking for a general manager. As you mentioned about entrepreneurs and manager, this person should be a manager able to lead people, not in a pushy way, in a hierarchical way, as we said before, but by leading by example. On the other side, so a good manager of operations, because basically every house we renovate, every building we renovate is like having a factory in a different every time in a different place. We don't have a factory in one place and is there always, but in every building is a new factory, and
Mhm.
every product we build is different. Every apartment, every building is a different product from the other one before. So it's quite complex in the operations, and so it should be someone very good at operations that already done it before. And about the entrepreneurship and startup, he should really have a startup mindset, because if he comes to us, maybe coming from other real estate that are not
Mhm.
so startup, so fast moving, then there is no culture fit. So the most important thing is this one: entrepreneurial spirit and startup way to do it. So if you work in startups and so on, can be very good. And yeah, that is it. But anyways, I would suggest to everyone who is a manager today to develop that innovative startup and move fast mindset,
Mhm.
because the future is changing a lot. We talked a bit about AI and machine learning, and the future of work is changing a lot also. Like, I think in the future many more people will be professionals, independent consultants, and entrepreneurs. And so a manager who manage people in the old way of managing people will not stay on the market, will not have any more space on the market. So that's what I suggest. That is for sure just my idea, but to develop, to read books, and to try to lead people, to manage people by leading in a different way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Federico. I think some of our audience would recognize themselves and will apply for such opportunity and position. And don't hesitate to leave comments if you are interested in that. Thank you, Federico. And we really love to have such conversation with you. And we wish you success in your company, in your investments, and make a great impact on your environment. We'd like to see how it's growing on your success, and just good luck with that. And let's do it. Let's make it possible.
Let's make it. Thank you very much. It was
Thank you.
very fun and excited, and looking forward maybe to see you around again.
Thanks so
Yeah.
much, Fede, for joining us today. It was great to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.